higher in the zone.
Oh, she got her. First batter up, first strikeout.
You have to identify it early. This one did not drop as much, but had good tumble as it kind of tailed away and gets Langford chasing it. And that's what Michigan's going to have to work against right here, is that kind of movement.
You know, it's interesting. I mentioned the 3 pitchers that UCLA has is the fortunate ability to just kind of cycle through, and their coaching staff has said, you know, we've used every single one, over 100 pitches thrown here this year. We have divvied it up between top 25 competition. Shortstop there for UCLA, who handles that ground ball. And you see Mujica is behind home plate, also a freshman, and her and Fisher go way back. They played together with some USA Softball. They know each other really well, and so that is a good battery to set up and to maybe, you know, give, if she needs it, I don't know if she needs it, but to give Fisher some kind of that sweet spot behind the plate.
Well, I think maybe some of it too is to feel confidence and control in the situation where it doesn't all feel new. You've got a catcher that you've thrown to for a long time.
Ground ball that's foul. And this is Lauren Putz, the all-talented freshman against freshman here in this matchup. And she was named to the all-freshman team. 2 for 9 here in tournament play. Both Fisher and Putz named to the Big Ten all-freshman team. And a ground ball through the 5-6 hole. Now Bragg kind of charged at it, couldn't quite get to it, and it's a 2-out single here for Putz.
Putz did a phenomenal job just sitting back on this and waiting for it. And as she waited for it, again, not a solid hit, not something we're typically used to seeing Putz, but she drives it right through that 5-6 hole. A phenomenal job to just get a runner on base. It doesn't matter. There's going to be a lot of ground balls on a drop ball pitcher. You just have to find your way to get it through that infield. If you're Michigan, that's got to be their goal here.
Lauren Putz is part of Michigan blood. Her mother, Kelsey, was a 2-time All-American. Father, JJ Putz, played in the MLB 12 seasons, but is also a Michigan Wolverines. And the best part is head coach Bonnie Thole was the first to know about Kelsey and JJ having twins, being Lauren. Said, I never thought at that moment that I would be able to coach her someday, but it makes it even more so special how well they've known the family for years.
She's a twin too, and what she told Bonnie Thole and Carol Hutchkins, I got a double play combination coming your way. Her twin is a beach volleyball player at Lindenwood. I guess it would have been the world's greatest upset if Putz didn't come to Michigan to play for Bonnie Thole, since they know each other so well.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I didn't live in Michigan, but I'll tell you what, when you're raised by 2 Michigan fans and Michigan athletes, it's kind of hard not to bleed
all
bleed
of that
blue.
fact. Swings at the first pitch, a fly ball that's in foul territory, leaning over against the fence and making the grab. How about it, Ellie Sealer?
And you've got to have great defensive plays if you're going to play a clean game. Sealer right over the fence of the bullpen there. Just continues to bring her glove over. Jessica Clemens hoping for a new life, didn't get it there.
Here's Pola, who had started her day in the semifinals, 3 for 3. Again, she was 3 for 4 in the game, but she flies that one out again to Sealer. So just a few pitches here, and Sealer's taking care of the first 2 batters due to the fly ball. You see the Michigan defense, they have been top 3 in the Big Ten all season long. As Sealer's there in left field, Conway has had a great Big Ten tournament, and Stevenson rounds out the outfield. Erickson, Fantucci, Langford, and Ramey, and then Valamont is behind home plate. Yeah, you get 2 outs before you get Woolery and Grant, and you're doing pretty good, especially with the bases empty here.
And to me, if you're going to give your team a chance to win, you've got to find a way to keep the bases clear when you get Jordan Woolry and Megan Grant up at the plate, because what they can do, the long ball, the way they hit the ball hard, just even in the outfield, it doesn't necessarily have to go over, but they put the ball and play hard. Good things happen on the base path when you have runners on for them.
There's Lily Valamont's graphic saying that she's 3 for 9 here in the tournament. Foul ball there to Valamont. That score bug, so you know where we're at. Josh and Sam handled that. I mean, and Travis, Nick, Misha, Jack, and Abby on replay with some of the different looks that we've gotten all tournament. Boy, they've been busy.
On point.
Here's the 0-2. And strikes are out. Speaking of replays, let's roll one.
And this is the pitch that you have to pay attention to. It spins and on the corner, dropping a little bit off the side of the plate. You can see how it moves, the excitement that you see from Addison Fisher. An outstanding job and good movement.
Swinging at the first pitch is Ellie Sealer, and 2 up and 2 down. And now it's UCLA having the quick inning defensively.
Now batting for the Wolverines, third baseman, number 7, Maddie Erickson.
First pitch swinging, Erickson taking it. Be the batters due up here for UCLA.
That's how quick the hands were of Megan Grant. That's why she can get those 23 home runs, leading the nation. She is just so good at what she can do at the plate with her power.
Grant popping it up in foul territory here. And Valamont had charged over. But
oh, you see all the paper flying out of Megan Grant's signed wristband. Looked like confetti coming around her.
it did. They're celebrating early. That's right.
That would have been quite a replay with a home run instead of a fly ball or a foul ball.
That's right.
Did you see that? Some confetti floating around you.
Oh, that would have been great. 2-2 the count here for Megan Grant. And a foul ball there for Grant, but everything stays put in the wristband that time, as opposed to this.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got multiple different sign cards in your wristband, and it just, for whatever reason, on that swing through, popped right out of that wrist guard.
It's not very often that you see that,
No.
if at all.
Maybe one pops out. Ooh, not a bad pitch there. Just missing off the corner. Good frame by Valamont. We've seen Grant chase some of those outside pitches on that outside corner, a lot of them to lefty curveball throwers that kind of move further out, but chooses not to swing at that one off the plate.
Here's the 7th pitch of this at-bat, and Grant, a high fly ball to shallow center field, for the first out. Flies out to the shortstop, Fantucci. To put it in perspective, she went 7 pitches in that at-bat, and it was 7 total pitches in the first inning for the top 3 hitters for UCLA.
You were reading my mind. I was thinking the same thing. That was about as long as the last inning.
There's Alexis Ramirez. Once again, getting a start in the DP spot. She's so valuable with her bat. They got to keep her in the lineup. If you haven't been following the UCLA story, she was dealing with an injury that happened last in 2024. And coming back from that, she's trying to get to the point where, she can start behind the plate as a catcher, not just start in the lineup as a DP. She did do that in the quarterfinals, played all 7 innings starting behind home plate. First time since 2024. And she sits on that inside strike pitch.
A great spot there on the inside corner. Dierkowski's able to paint that corner well on the inside and get the strike call, kind of expand the zone in and out. That's the goal, to work for those mishits.
And Ramirez, the one-hopper over to the shortstop, Fantucci, who handles it. Got her body right in front of it and makes the throw to first base, and so 2 away. Tonight, baseball comes your way when 17th ranked UCLA clashes with Illinois. Live coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Yeah, just down the street from Ross-Ade Stadium. Beautiful big Bittinger Stadium. Right next door to the baseball stadium as well. They've done a great job in building this new facility to be able to host a tournament like this. Riley Slimp has had a memorable Big Ten tournament in her freshman season. She also was all freshman team. And she fouls that one back. Of course, had the game-winning RBI against Indiana in the quarterfinals. In the bottom of the 7th, there's a look at Bittinger Stadium. Boy, it was packed last night when Purdue was playing here, and there's a good crowd here for the championship as well. Lisa Byington, Jenny Ritter, Sydney Supley is our roaming reporter here today. And Falamont was trying to frame that up.
A good 1-2 pitch there. Maybe a little bit too close for me. I feel like you get a 0-2 count, maybe a little bit further off the plate.
She sits on it, times it perfectly, and Slimp with a 2-out single.
Same with that on a 1-2 count, maybe too far over the plate to allow somebody like Riley Slimp, who's seen the ball well throughout this season. She delivers this one, just an outside pitch, turns on it well. Gets herself on base, but again, to me, too far over the plate on a 1-2 count.
This is good news for UCLA because the 1 or the 2 seed has won 21 of the 24 championships all time and won the 8 previous titles. By the way, that's the first hit against Lauren Dierkowski. She had retired the first 5 UCLA batters. And here is Kanaya Bragg. You would think, well, you know, the first 5 UCLA batters are dangerous, but it was Bragg and Mujica in the 7 and the 8 spot who hit home runs in yesterday's semifinal.
And Bragg just 3 for 6 with a home run in this tournament. So when you say, you know, for me, I look and say, okay, well, she got through the heart of the lineup. She got past Polo, Woolery, and Grant, but let me tell you, when you're still working down this lineup and you got to deal with Bragg, you got to deal with Mujica, you still have some power you have to work through.
Oh, 1-2 the count. High and outside to Bragg. Now Kanaya Bragg, Sophia Mujica, both freshmen. You go freshman, freshman, freshman with Slimp and Bragg and Mujica in this lineup. And you finish off with a sophomore Terry at the number 9 spot. Struck her out. Strikeout number.
To me, when you saw this crowd, that women's sports has arrived, especially Big Ten softball. When you look around, how much has the growth of the sport over time just amazed you?
Well, as somebody who came from a long time ago, I can tell you that women's sports has arrived. And the ability to be on TV as much as we are with all the college softball games that are on these days. And it's not just softball. All of women's sports. People are investing in women's sports. They're realizing that it is a tremendous opportunity. And you know what? We need all the support we can get, because at this really critical time in college athletics, we need people to understand that these women are just as deserving as anybody else.
A pleasure, Coach Hutch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for following us. Go Blue.
I don't know. Thank you, Sydney, and thank you, Hutch. I don't know if there's anyone better to talk about the impact of women's sports and the growth of women's sports than Carol Hutchins. You know, Kelly Inouye-Perez has talked about Hutch's impact on her even as a coach, and says, you know, if there were a top 3 list of impactors or mentors to me in my career, Carol Hutchins would definitely be on that top 3 list. She keeps it real. She said, I enjoyed her as a young coach, and being able to have someone like Hutch tell me, if you need anything, that helps to build some confidence. She would model Hutch and meet her first at some of those Division I conventions. She said she was a young coach. Hutch had her and a lot of other different young coaches go out to the beach. That she said, grab your gloves, we're going to do defensive situations. And from that point on, you know, she was hooked and learning from Hutch and trying to be impacted by the former Michigan great.
I think Hutch she's kind of that person that no matter what she's talking about, you're dialed in. She'll take you to school on whatever it is. She has passion about a lot of things, more than softball, but women's sports in a huge way. Second called, third strike here. This pitch is not a drop ball. Excuse me, it's a drop ball, but it does not drop with the vertical movement that's typical. You're almost looking at Fantucci waiting for it to drop, and it just does not tumble out.
Now she got Ramey swinging and Fantucci looking. See what she does with Indiana Langford for the first time. She struck out Langford in her first at-bat. Went to a full count and then got her for the first strikeout of the game.
The corner's crashing here. If you're Langford, taking a look at how quickly Grant Woolry are not afraid to be like right in your face when you squared a bunt right there. Something from a strategical point for Langford, who's up her batting average, has to really take a look at the corners and figure out what's a good time to really pound it into the ground for a slap or drop that bunt down for speed. But the fearless corners, they're not giving you a whole lot of room on a bunt.
Addison Fisher is from Bend, Oregon. And as you can imagine, all kinds of Division I college coaches wanted her to play for them. Here's the 2-2. And Langford skies it in foul territory, and the catch, you know, in her meaning with, in her connection with Carol Hutchins, she said she caught Hutch's eye right after that, and a fly ball from Mujica in the infield. And she said, if I was on staff and I was going to lose to anyone, it was okay for me to lose to Hutch and to Michigan, because I realized how much it meant to the program and how much it meant to a coach like her.
It's quite a compliment. I mean, obviously I have a different opinion of it, because we wanted to fight and we wanted to win, and that's what it felt like, was all-out war. But I think we heard Bonnie Thole say it yesterday. UCLA is the standard. They have won more national championships than anybody. They know how to win. They know what it takes. They're down to business when it comes to championships, when it comes down to winning ball games, when it comes down to putting a team together. You want to continue to fight for them. You want to be on the same level as them. They were going for a three-peat that year, and what I love about that is that we were the #1 team in the country and the underdog in that final because of UCLA, because they're that good.
This is what I love. You look at Bonnie Thole and Kelly Inouye-Perez is the same. I mean, they both were longtime assistants before now they decided to take over their alma mater, right? I mean, they believe in this program. You know, Bonnie Thole was the lead assistant for Hutch and was an all-Big Ten player, the shortstop position. Kelly Inouye-Perez, 19th year as a head coach, but 32nd overall at UCLA. They both have the buy-in. And both these programs have the consistency. And if you look at how many head coaches each program has had, it hasn't been a whole lot on either side.
Yeah, I mean, the loyalty runs deep. And to me, that's my favorite part about both of these teams, is how they stay loyal. All of these coaches, assistant coaches, associate head coaches, could be head coaches in other places and be super successful in those other places, and yet they choose to stay as a staff.
It's Terry taking it into foul territory. I'll tell you what, those left fielders, both Sealer and Slimp have made some plays over there. And all the balls seem to be filtering out to left.
You can see where Sealer is. She's kind of hiding close to that foul line, knowing that to those lefty hitters, Terry, those slappers, they kind of look to hit in that shallow outfield along the line. Like it's planned up.
I'd be remiss to not mention Sue Enquist, right? We talked to Carol Hutchins, who's here on site, but Sue Enquist, a legend in the softball world. And Kelly Inouye Perez spent 30 coaches all sitting together.
What a moment.
Tanisa Conway is your batter here from Michigan. And none of these offenses right now have figured out these two starting pitchers. Lauren Durkowski, Addison Fisher have each only given up a hit. Who will be the first to get a run here today, as we're at the top of the fourth. One and two now the count.
This foul ball in on the hands. Look, bounces right in to the UCLA dugout. A good ducking and diving there.
And Conway, tough to strike her out, and Addison Fisher does exactly that. 5 strikeouts now for the freshman.
And Conway goes after a pitch that's up in the zone, and smart to me too, because you're looking for something that's higher up in the zone, but Fisher gets the good movement and gets the chase. You can start mixing up that drop ball you just saw there with that vertical drop, the movement on that. And then you, every once in a while, mix in a rise ball, something that jumps, even if it doesn't jump as well. A team looking to identify a pitch that maybe is a little bit higher in the zone, because that's the one that you can really connect with. You don't want to swing at the drop balls that start at the knees and drop further, then you're expanding the zone low. So you got Conway to swing at that.
Lauren Putz fouls it off her body. She's the only one that's gotten a hit off of Addison Fisher here today. Addison Fisher had really good numbers. We showed them to you at the beginning against Michigan in the 3-game series that UCLA swept the Wolverines in. And once again, Putz, oh wow, running it down. The center fielder Clemens chases it down on her horse for out number 2. And Fisher appreciates that effort.
We saw a hit like this earlier in the tournament that was the same way, a center fielder running it down. Clemens with her speed. This looks like it's going to drop in the gap. Clemens just closes that gap.
Yeah, Lauren Putz thought she might have had hit number 2, and you know, pitchers appreciate that kind of work behind them.
Well, I mean, I think as a pitcher, you see that and you're thinking, okay, go back up third. I just gave up a hit in the gap. And then here comes your center fielder with blazing speed that just, it doesn't feel like there's any holes in your outfield. And when you have an opportunity to have a fast outfield like that, forget about it. The confidence it brings you.
Ellis Stevenson fouls it off her leg. We told you the success of the 1 and the 2 seeds here in the Big Ten tournament. The 1 seed has won 12 times, the 2 seed 9 times. And actually the 8 seed has won once. That came with Michigan State. The 8 seed in Indiana also got to the championship game last year as well. So, you know, if you're the 8 seed, there is a chance. Michigan State won it in 2004 as the 8 seed. Ella Stevenson is 0 for 1. She flew out in the first inning. Now both of these pitchers have produced and induced quite a few fly ball outs here today, and hit by pitch, and Stevenson is aboard. Just the second base runner that Fisher has given up.
And that drop ball, when you're trying to get it down in the zone, just kind of spins off her hand. You can see it falls off those fingers behind her hip and goes too far on the inside, ricochets off that guard on the front foot, right into that back foot.
And the first free pass that either pitcher has given up. Both of them have thrown really clean softball games here so far. Valamont attacking the first pitch.
Kind of, to me, the feel of how this game is going to happen is you have to play clean defense. You have to be clean with your free passes in the circle as well.
Taylor Tinsley is getting some work in the bullpen. She picked up the quarterfinal win against Indiana. Her 9th complete game that she got in the quarters. That's the most on the team. And speaking of complete games, Jenny, just to show how balanced this pitching staff is for UCLA, in the 3-game set against Michigan, LA, Savannah Pola flew out. I mentioned we've seen a lot of fly ball outs for both of these offenses, and she flew out in the first inning. It was a really short at-bat. That was part of the 7-pitch inning in the top of the first, where Lauren Turkowski and Michigan took care of Clements and Pola and Woolery, 1-2-3.
Turkowski getting behind here on Pola, not a place you want to be, especially when you have somebody like Pola at the plate who finds a way to get her barrel on so many pitches, even ones that are not in that strike zone. You've got some big hitters behind her as well.
All right, and walks Savannah Pola. And very
pitches.
few base runners here that we have seen either on either side.
This was Coach Lisa Fernandez's first year as a hitting coach, but she started working with Savannah Pola last season, who only had a 190 batting average at the time because she saw greatness living inside her. Those two worked, prepping her to be the hitting coach, and the way that it is paid off this year, she's hitting over 400, has a new confidence, and she gives all the thanks and praise to Coach Fernandez.
I mean, is there anything that Lisa Fernandez can't do?
No, the answer is no, Lisa.
You know, you guys were roommates, right?
Roommates in pro ball. I'll tell you what, every night she would go to sleep, fun fact, go to sleep and replay the entire game, including where the batters hit it, and think about what she could do to get better. If that is not legendary and somebody who knows what it takes to be great, she's passing that on to her team right there.
Associate head coach, we talk about consistency. She's in her 27th season at UCLA. Has had, some looks and some offers, and I know some interest to be a head coach herself, but, she loves being an associate head coach. She loves being an assistant. She loves UCLA, most importantly. She's been managing the hitters and the infielders the last couple of years, and to Sydney's point, really in charge of the offense, digging into the analytics and helping players like Pola improve this year. A high fly ball, Woolery skies it to right field, and for the first out.
I think that's half the success for Michigan right here. If you can get through Woolery and Grant and not allow that long ball to come into effect, that's going to be key. You got Pola here on first base. You got to be careful with what she can do, especially with the power of Grant here. But so far, the benefit has been in favor of Michigan against these two hitters, Turkowski. And partially because of that, Lisa, Turkowski's throwing a lot of changeups to these two batters. And when you can mix the speed, the changeup is slow enough today. And if Turkowski can mix that enough, it forces both Grant and Woolery to kind of miss-hit a little bit, go after pitches they might not necessarily like and pop up more than drive it.
And Grant fouls that back. It's Woolery's numbers actually that weren't very good in that Michigan series against UCLA. Woolery was 3 for 11. It was Grant that was 4 for 9, batting .444 against these Michigan pitchers in that 3-game weekend set. Here's the 0-2. She drills it, and off the glove of the center fielder Conway. And Janisa Conway nearly made a play on it, but a single for Grant.
And I think if Janisa Conway had it her way, she'd try that again and get the out, but this was a rocket. Look how she drives this straight back up the middle. Conway she's in the right position. You see how she sat back and waited to drive that. It was up in the zone. And then Conway, she got her glove on it. Ultimately should have had it in that glove, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think if you're asking Conway, she believes so too.
They gave her an error on that, and again, Conway's going to get another chance. A fly ball from Ramirez. She handles it that time. So not a hit for Grant. It's an error there for Janisa Conway. But she takes care of that opportunity for the second out.
But I will say the benefit to that is that because it looked like it would have been caught, Pulla was not able to get all the way to second base and potentially advance to third once it wasn't caught. She had to sit back and wait to go back to first base had it been caught. So she's only able to advance one base. So still have runners just at first and second.
Riley Slimp is still the only UCLA batter with a hit against Durkowski today. It was a very patient at-bat.
She fouled off some pitches, but to me, I thought that those pitches too far over the heart of the plate. And that's ultimately why Slimp ended up getting the hit. You see Durkowski getting behind in the count here. 2 balls to none, missing the zone pretty significantly. Coach Brundage coming out. Maybe have that conversation with her to reset her. You get 2 runners on, you're trying to be a little too perfect about what you're throwing.
Get news, highlights, and analysis on The Big Show tonight at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. The 3-0 to Slimp. And she takes the 3-0 pitch.
And this is not the batter, to me, that you want to walk. You've got somebody with so much power behind her. 2 batters, really, between Bragg and Mujica. You've got 2 outs. This is the batter you want to attack, even though Slimp has the ability to advance runners, maybe not as much power.
Now she's got 2 strikes on her. The count goes full. That is the challenge of taking on this UCLA offense, though. I feel like every batter is capable of producing an RBI or sending it yard.
I mean, Slimp has 23 RBI in the season. Certainly not somebody that can't produce it. But if you're thinking about whether, to me as a pitcher, if you'd rather face somebody that only has 2 home runs on the season, you know, versus somebody that has 9, I'm thinking I want to reduce the power, keep the ball in the park, as Coach Stoll said, like, let's keep the ball in the park. And then focus on getting the hitter that maybe is just looking for just infield hits and or short outfield hits.
Good battle between Slimp and Durkowski in this at-bat. This will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat coming up.